What's up, traders? Let's just make sure we have sound. If you're just joining us for the first time, if it does not say live at the bottom of the screen, this is not live. All right? Thank you again. Sorry, I just want to make sure we had sound. What's up, guys? We got a huge week coming up. Huge week. I got a lot of lessons for you guys. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. All right, let me turn this down. So, on this segment, what are we going to cover? First, we're going to cover, if you're just joining us, we're trying to get to 100 subscribers. If you could, thank you. Subscribe. We go through a lot of stuff, guys, and we've been calling these markets early if you're new. I've been trading. I'm Justin. I've been trading for about 7, 8 years now. 6, 7 years, maybe 8. Who's counting? So, what I'm going to go through is a couple things tonight. More importantly, what do I think is going to happen this week? 1, what do I think is going to happen this week? What do we got to be watching for? What stocks am I going to be watching for? Okay. 2, I'm going to cover a lot of stuff with these datas, and there's something I'm going to get into with earnings. Sorry, I was a little kind of just going. I wasn't ready. Again, if you could, like, share, and subscribe, it's greatly appreciated. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. If you find this information valuable, if there's anything that I could be doing differently, there's something I could be doing. I'm still working on a lot of things, right? Comment down below. What's something that you would like to hear from me? What could I be doing better? It's greatly appreciated. And again, thank you guys for joining me tonight. How to grow a small account. I want to go talk into briefly how could you really consistently grow a small account? Because here we like to say we earn the right to take risk, right? There's a few ways I'm going to talk about that. Even more importantly, whether it's a small account or not, how should you be playing these markets, or what are some things you should be doing? Again, this is not financial advice. I cannot give you financial advice. I cannot tell you what to do with your money. But I would like to bring this up because I would like you to start thinking, maybe you have capital. What is going on with the SPY here? What is this? What's going on here? Is this a misprint? It's got to be a misprint. It's got to be a misprint, right? Yeah, it's definitely a misprint. Okay. I was like, what the heck? So, yeah, there's just a candle that literally went through my monitor and through the roof. All right. So, how to grow a small account. Are there some things you should be doing differently? Maybe you have more capital than others. Maybe you have less capital than others. So we're gonna structure the two, right? Whether you're a buyer, whether you're a seller, what sectors should you be thinking about? You know, whether that's trading, whether it's buying or selling, the different types of volatility that comes with the different type of stocks. So we're gonna go into that briefly, real quick, because guys, this market is one tool to help you get you where you want to be. Right? It's not end all be all. Okay? For some people, they want it to be that. They want it to be that. They just want to trade the markets and that's it. Guys, this is just one tool. Okay? It's going to come a time when you're going to get bored of the markets, or you're going to get frustrated because you're not making any money. Right? So comment down below, like, share, subscribe. We go through, and we have, and members can attest to this, for the past 2 months that I've started this channel, we've been on BABA before it broke out. We've been on oil before it broke out. We were on Bitcoin before it broke out. You know, there were a lot of things like, go look at Ford. We were on that, and we had our targets, and it hit it. Okay? The videos are down below, right? You could go through them. It's all recorded live. I've brought all these things up. First thing I want to get into, Friday. Let's talk about Friday, because there's a reason why I want to get into this. And a member had me thinking, right? He said, do you ever swing trade? And I said, you know, it's funny. And I got to thinking, I'm like, I do. I'm going to show you a chart tonight as well that I'm actually going to be looking to see if it does in fact hold, with a couple other things that I'm going to tell you about. That's going to be something I'm going to think about swinging. Okay? But it was a good question because it had me thinking. Third, we're going to get into so much stuff, guys. Third, we're going to talk about the overall markets in a whole. Nobody's talking about it. The other thing, the second thing that nobody's talking about, the yield curve. I'm going to get into that. So I'm going to start it one by one. We're going to go into real quick Friday and my thoughts on Friday and why I traded in the morning. I traded Amazon. I was long at first. It just seemed like, you guys know, Amazon was chopping around. So I took that position off, break even trade. But I hit the short side on Amazon Friday, and then I was done after that. Because I seen Amazon got back up into this level here. This 141, or I'll call it 142. I literally traded off of the 1 minute, and I got it perfect because I ended up getting some follow through here. So I traded Amazon, and I was like done for the day. This move right here, we broke VWAP, turned it into resistance, and then I took profits at this target, at this white line. It broke through it, but I was, as it's going through it, I'm taking profits. I literally got out at the bottom end of this range. I'm almost positive if I were to pull up my brokerage statements, they would show the timing that it was that I ended up getting out of this short trade. Right here, roughly like below the break of that, like was the last of my pieces, because I was just, I was taking it off to, not taking it off too, but my target was VWAP, okay, because this did not hold. This area 141.30 didn't hold, so I said okay, because it broke, but it still closed, I gave it a minute. Because I knew looking back that this was resistance. But again, I was long. But in the morning on the SPY, sorry if I'm yelling, but in the morning on the SPY, I was aiming to the short side, but the short didn't happen until 12 o'clock. And then at like 12 o'clock, I seen before I could, and I tried to get short the market. I did. I tried to get short. It never gave me my, it never gave me the pullback that I was looking for. So that was my trade Friday, but he brought up a good question, and I started thinking to myself, why haven't I been swinging or longing these trades? Or like holding them throughout the day? Well, it took Amazon to chop back and forth all the way till 10 o'clock. I'm already green on the day. Now, I don't know what is to come here. I was watching it here. I was watching Amazon there on the breakout. I was waiting to enter here, but I never got, trading's not going to be perfect. So it's like, what do you do? What do you do? Or it was actually the wick on this base, because we were starting to turn this previous morning range, previous highs, into support, right? We were starting to turn this triple top into support, and I was already long-minded. I was already long Amazon. It just never, it literally decided to do this. I said, oh, okay, that's what we're going to get. Because if you notice some of these earnings, like Google, they gapped up and then they just traded sideways. They just sat up there. So that's going through my mind. We don't know what's going to happen, but we use probabilities. Okay, what's the probability? Or we also use what I like to call expected value. Like what like expected value in a sense of like, what could I expect? With this thing chopping, me taking the short here, getting, out after the break of this level. Now, if it continued to the downside, it is what it is. But as of right now, look at pre-market. It was trading sideways. I should have known that coming into the day and waited. All right. But, it was Friday. It was one of the stocks to watch. It was the winner. And we had said that. If you don't know already, again, like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. If you find this information valuable, we told you Thursday that the probability, and Wednesday, we told you the probability that Amazon was the winner was pretty dang high. And if I had to make a choice, it was going to be Amazon as the winner and Apple is not necessarily the loser, but it was the loser. But yes, Amazon was the winner and not Apple. And that was correct. I've been saying it over and over. If you know how to read a chart, the charts have told you earnings outcome for the most part. Okay. I did it way back with Spotify. When Spotify came out and I seen the chart pattern and it sold off, that was my inclination to say, okay, let's start watching to see if there's a long type of setup going into earnings, or is it a short type of setup? I took notice to that, right? You'll develop these things as time goes. You start to notice one thing, and then you say to yourself, let's see if this happens again. Repetition. Guess what? It's literally been happened. It happened with just about every single company that reported. There was one that was hanging out on the top side of the range. It might have been Sunrun, right? I think Sunrun was the one that was hanging out on the top side of the range. and that was the one that ended up like kind of beating, but whatever. So it probably, maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was Shopify or something. I'm not sure. So anyway, my whole point to this is, he said he had me thinking Friday afternoon. Okay, so I'm like, he's right. So I told you guys with this downgrade in Fitch, which is going to go into the yield curve. Okay, I told you guys what's going to come. It's hard for me to swing a position because I know with that type of news, we're going to get volatility, and volatility's coming. Volatility's knocking on that door. Come correct. What do I mean by that? Come correct. Dwindle your position size so you can hold trades longer. And you need to expect a pullback in the same direction. You've seen it Friday. You've seen it Thursday. The volatility with that, the past is not always indicative of the future. But if we go to the last time there was a downgrade, look at this volatility, guys. Big down moves, big up moves. Big down moves, big up moves. This is why I can't swing. Because we're not in a bullish market, and we're not necessarily in a bearish market right at this minute, as far as day trading is concerned, right? Yes, the trend is up. We're technically in a bull market, all right? But with this news comes volatility. This is why I cannot swing a position, right? This is why I can't, when I get my move, I'm taking profits. I don't want to scalp, right? And it's not even scalping, I'm on these trades for a few minutes and stuff, but when Moderna, I tried to trade Moderna. That was going to be my like full-time, like a trade that was going to last me like 3, 4, 5 hours throughout the day. The spreads were outrageous. When I looked at them in the morning, they were 15 cents to $1 something. How the hell am I supposed to play that, or try to help anyone else try to play that? You can't. That's crazy, right? So he had me thinking, right? There's two things, there's two places that I'm going with this. So that's number one. The market environment. I can't swing. If I'm taking directional trades, I'm getting my direction, I'm taking profit. 1, we have a war. 2, we have inflation, we have Fed. 3, the downgrade and the volatility. So for now, I'm going to look for the direction. I'm going to get my areas, which I'm going to cover with you guys. Right? All we ask is a like, share, and subscribe. We do this stuff free 99. We're not a shark. We're not here to tear you up. We're not here to eat you and take advantage of you. All right? We're trying to just bring you educational, valuable information from someone that's been doing this long enough and would not come on these streams to embarrass himself if he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Right? I've seen so much stuff. It's just been years, and I'm like, let's do it. I traded by myself for years. I wasn't even in a group. I would take the news and I would trade by myself. I wasn't in a group. Very lonely profession, and it can be a lonely profession. So that's what we're trying to do here, is build a community of traders, free 99, come up with ideas, go over the news, go over our levels, and people will charge for that. Just to go hang out, go over charts, give our thoughts, and hang out in a group chat. People charge for that. We're doing it for free 99. So that's all we ask. So that's why I can't swing. Sorry guys, real quick. So with this volatility, right? With this volatility means that it's harder for me to just sit and let a position be green, okay? And then be so inexperienced to know that position can just turn around on a dime, and now that green position is going to be red. What's that not only going to do to like my portfolio or my my trades during the day and being green and stuff, but what's that going to do to me psychologically? Now I'm going to be in regret. Now I'm going to be in a state of mind where I'm in a state of volatility in the markets, and then you add in being emotional, knowing, man, I should have took profit. Was I greedy? What? You start thinking. You got to keep it simple. You're green, take profits. If you're buying 1 or 2 contracts, you get the extension. You have to know, as a new trader, when you buy options and you just get a really nice move, right? Chances are that pullback and another slow move up is not going to pay you that much more money. Now, if you have options a week or two out, that's different, right? That's different. If you're playing weeklies, okay, you have to understand that once you get that move and then it pulls back and then it just kind of just goes slow, you probably just missed your opportunity to take the high of the day on those options. Okay, so I want you to think about those. And if you enter a position and you're buying the bottom and it goes up because it's pulling back to come down lower, and that pullback brings you red, you need to know and have the understanding, if when this thing comes back and in the manner it comes back, am I even going to be green? Is it going to come back? I can sense those things as a veteran trader. Okay, I can sense it. All right. Now, I may not be always correct, but I have an idea. If I were to buy this low and it pulls back and then it starts to come back down, chances are that position is still going to be red, and then I need even more. And is it even going to pay once it gives me more? Is it even going to give me like really nice momentum follow through? So that's all I want you guys to think about, is keep in mind when you do trade daily, think about, especially with options at least, because you're fighting time and price, and really you're fighting price as in the movement, the volatility, right? If you get a nice move in your direction and you just went like 85 cents, let's just say the SPY, you just moved damn near $1 in like just a couple minutes, you need to be taking some of that position off, because I assure you it's either going to reverse and pull back and then just wick around, okay, depending on what's going on, what type of day, if it's, if there's a Fed member, if there's CPI, or if there's this, that, the third. So I want you guys to think about that. I didn't want to spend too much time on it. So for now, I do have a swing trade lined up, which I'm going to show you guys. I just want to see if it works. But when I'm looking at the charts, I feel like it's going to break down. So now I might be swinging to the downside, right? I'm going to be watching. So if it holds the level and what else I want to see as it holds it, then I'm going to be long to the upside, or I'm going to say, you know what, this is going to be a failed breakout. It's just not giving me what I think because of this, that, the third, which I'm going to show you. So these are some of the things you can find on this channel. Again, if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. We're just here to help you make some money, help you be the best person you can by using just the one thing that you have in life, just one of the things you have in life, to help you get you where you want to go. Okay, you don't have to be losing money in options. You don't have to be, struggling. You don't have to be. All right, come here. And guess what? You can also ask me any question. Any kind of questions you guys have, throw them in the chat. I will answer them. So if you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. I'll cover them here in just a minute. So I went over the swing trading. And again, thank you to the member in chat that brought me that, because he had me thinking. So let's go on to number 2 real quick that nobody's talking about. All right, so what did we have? All right, so let's bring up Apple. Okay, we had a really healthy bull market. And I'm going to cover this in all the sectors. Look at this. So if we go to a daily chart of Apple, it's at all-time highs. Nice momentum run, right? Same thing with Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft, look at that rally. Bang. Right? Netflix, same thing for the most part. Okay. So we can just do like Netflix. I mean, we can, Meta, right? It's kind of stalled a little bit, but Meta, it was on a tear. Okay. It's starting to pull itself back a little bit, but look at this. So that's a rally from the big names. So if you ever hear them say leaders and laggards, right? You just had the leaders lead, right? Then what did we have? So let's look at like Shop. Okay. Shopify. It lagged, but it went up. It lagged. So the leaders led, they followed behind. That's just one name, okay? I'm sure there's many of them that I could go over. I just can't think of really any ticker at this minute. So that's just tech. So let's go look at CVX, right? Let's look at energy, which I brought this up, and I actually think Chevron's getting ready to probably turn back around. I could look at this 2 ways, but I'll get into this real quick. So you had the leaders lead. You've put in a base. You've pulled back to shake out weak hands. Now, this is going to be the area, which is another swing trade idea. If we cannot hold this level, which I think we just broke it. unless it's going to be another small pullback to rip to the left. That's why I'm going to watch it. I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to let it do what it needs to do, and then when I get that confirmation, it's on. It's on, okay? And then you have the increase in volume, mind you, right? We did have a low volume pullback, but we never got that upside. This could just be from Friday, but I would expect them to at least try to close it right here around 159.50 area. So once you broke that 50 cent, it's like, okay, there's probably a reason why they closed it down there. So that's a leader. Chevron, for instance. Let's look at like Rig. Look at Rig. Laggard. That when it's still trying to, looks like it's trying to roll over now, but it also lagged and went to the upside. So you had all these, all different sectors where the leaders led, and then the laggards came up behind. That's a healthy market. Now, if we can get a pullback and hold, how long is it before we make a next leg higher into new highs? Are we even going to? That's going to bring me into my third thing, and then we're going to get into all the trade ideas and what we have. Because we have Fed members, we have CPI, and that'll only take just a minute because I have it all written down. So 2, okay, this Fitch downgrade. Could the Fitch downgrade for the long-term debt of the United States actually be helping the yield to uninvert the yield curve? Nobody said that. Nobody has said, from what I've seen, I have not seen anyone say anything of the like. I don't know why. All right, so let's look at the 20-year. This is a daily chart. Look at the pullback. It hasn't pulled back as much as the 10 and 2s. Okay? It hasn't pulled back as much as the 10 and 2s. Okay? So it actually had a really nice rip to the upside, guys. A really nice rip to the upside. Okay? So we're going to look at this, and then I'm going to bring up, let's just go to like the 10s, US 10-year. Okay? So I want you to keep that in mind. Now look, they broke the candle. The longer duration yields did not. They did not break the prior day's low. They didn't break it. Let's go to the 2-year, right? US 0, 2, Y, 2-year, just cranking on that 50-day now, on that 50-day moving average, right? It took back, it's already back, trying to work its way to that pivot low. Does it start rejecting here at 4.78? 4.79, I'm sorry, 4.798, that is. So these are the things that I want to bring up to you, because I personally haven't heard it. And if you could, for this very reason, things like this, hit the like button, right? If you could, hit the like, subscribe. Again, it's greatly appreciated. And give us some comments, or give us some feedback in the comments, right? So let's look at RB, gasoline futures. Oh, so is this a failed breakout now, right? So we were seeing and wanting to see if we could get gasoline futures. We brought this up back here, right? We brought it up back here, back in the, whatchamacallit. Sorry, it was right here because I started this channel a few weeks ago, but I've been watching this. Higher highs, higher lows, a pennant. We have a gap fill that we could possibly get to. I thought there was a gap fill. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it just filled it. Maybe it was that. That's not even the gap fill. That's not the gap fill. Okay. Maybe not. Okay. I guess there is no gap fill. It must have been something else I was looking at. I figured at least maybe we hit this 3.6. I'm not an oil or whatchamacallit type of guy. All right. So I don't know if that's way extreme or what. So is that Fitch rating helping to uninvert the yield curve, probably along with the other things? Is this the start? Is this the start of that? Because again, look at this. We held yesterday's close, right? You held yesterday's close, and we go to the 10-year because it's for longer duration. It's for longer duration. 10 years broke prior day's low, and then the 2-year is actually down here at this pivot low down here. So you're seeing right now short-term duration, versus long-term duration, and what's going on. Look at the pivot. pivot low. It's worked its way there with the 50-day. So personally, I'm not a banker. I'm not an economist, but I think that is one tool that it's actually helping to help uninvert the yield curve. What does that mean for stocks? Stocks have actually been going up and down with short-term yields, which is funny, isn't it? 2, somebody said today that I watched, not somebody, but I've seen a couple people talk about it. So real quick, they talked about sales and how that could help bring us to all-time highs and making new highs and stuff. Fine. Where and what earnings, maybe it's just one sector they've seen, what earnings have had sales beats and increased sales? Maybe it's me, maybe I'm reading wrong, maybe I need to go back, but we've talked in this stream that I've brought up to you that sales is revenue. Sales are declining, especially in the lower end names like the mid to large cap tech. Sales are not there. Sales aren't beating, is what I should say. They beat in revenue, but they don't beat in sales. Do we start to see more of that coming into the next couple quarters? Because I've given out some ideas here that like, hey, this is one we're going to watch. Sunrun is one of them. They missed on sales. Do they continue to miss on sales? Because again, sales is revenue. If they're missing on sales, they're going to be missing on revenue eventually, right? That's a slow in growth. We see it in the data, right? So what is the data, guys? We have Fed Bowman on Monday, or 8-7. That's saying we have consumer credit change, which I'm going to want to watch for, right? 8-8, which I guess would be Tuesday. U.S. imports versus exports. We have also the IBD tip, economic optimism. We have wholesale inventories, and you have China inflation rate. 2, you do have BABA earnings too, and China is going through their earnings. Just so you guys know, can give you some ideas, for trades. 8-9, we have EIA Energy Index on the 10th. We have India's interest rate decision. We also have CPI, Mexico's interest rate decision. And then on the 11th, we have PPI, Consumer Sentiment, WASDE report for the most part. Okay, there's going to be some other things in here, I'm sure, but for the most part, that's what we're going to be watching for, right? You have China's balance of trade. We'll see how that goes, but I want to see imports versus exports. I want to see this consumer credit change. I do want to see that, okay? And I think that's on imports, exports, balance of trade, total household debt, right? So we shall see, guys. We'll see what this week brings. I'm going to get into my whatchamacallit, some of the stocks that I'm watching. What do I think happens this week? Let's go into the spy. Let's do it. Let's get into some charts, guys. And again, if you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. Be happy to help. If you could, like, share, and subscribe. More importantly, like this video. Subscribe to it. We come out with a lot of information. We try to come up with these technical, these technical things, technical levels that we see play out in the longer term that could possibly give us, moves in the future. All right. The whole time oil before it broke out, just using USO as an example, okay, we said $60. We got to be a buyer at $60, okay? This was way back when, okay? Right? It was way back when. Because we said every time it's bouncing off of it. Look, 60 to 65, 60 to 65, 60 to 64, 65. So there's a $5 range there. Until one of them breaks, we're long. But we do know we have a longer term ascending, or an ascend. It's actually in the middle. This thing honestly is like, I guess, down. It might be a descending wedge, maybe, but it's really not descending, So we caught this. And yes, we still have this target that's actually almost hit, guys. We almost hit our target, right? I put this up weeks ago, back when we were back here at this double bottom. So these are the things we bring up, okay? Again, I wanted to touch on with the small account for you guys. Think about playing stocks like this. Think about U.S. Steel, okay? Also think about, whoa. Oh, that's USX. I was like, what? Like right now, we have a nice range. Could we be long steel? Take it up here. I would at least look for this thing to get to 25.25. I would at least look for U.S. Steel to get here. Once it finds a bottom, right? It should at least get there. What is this? 25? On a $20 stock. I mean, $2 on a $20 stock. Do the percentage on that. So, and also the volatility with it. You'll be able to stay in the trade. It's going to help you, consistently make money before you move on to like the things that are going to shake your ass out. Right? We're here to help you make money in the markets, learn the markets. I just go over things that I see and how I feel. You guys can take that for what it's worth and come up with your own decision. I hope you would, because I'm not always going to be right. So I wanted to just go back over that. And should you be selling spreads, selling and buying options also, doing spreads, selling calls and should you be doing iron condors? Should you be doing, butterflies? Like, maybe you have more capital than someone else and it's more beneficial for you to just collect that premium on both sides of the trade. You get your range, bada bing, bada boom, I never grabbed my water and I said I did. So I would look for U.S. Steel to, see you could potentially get a bounce here. My first take profit, for instance, would be up here at this 24.50 level, but you take your profits and you let it do what it does. Set a trailed stop, even just setting a trailed stop on it, But you do want to see it find a base, daily price action. Tell you that, we help you with those things. So that even another one, TLT, man. We were buyers at 100. We were buyers at 103. I know these numbers. 104, 108, 109-ish. 104, 108, 104, 103, 106. Sorry, 104, 106. These moves are they pay, guys. If you buy them right, you're going to collect. This is something you could put a trailed stop loss, and let it work, and you go trade something. Again here, $100 to 103. We called that out for a while, but I wish I seen that. We did. I did see it, but it was too late on this, on that head and shoulders. Beautiful pattern right there. Beautiful pattern that told you Fitch was going to be downgrading. Something was coming. I seen it this day, and the market's still just doing what it's doing. I'm like, guys, TLT's just getting hammered. Capitulation type of movement, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and what did it do? It came up and smacked it. That's a beautiful chart pattern. You when you get these clean chart patterns like this, look, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Boom, it's on. And that's all they needed. All they needed was that retest. We got it on SPY. So let's go back. Friday. I was mixed. I came in the day wanting to be short. So what I want to help you guys do is realize, looking at both like different time frames, also using, and not just, not adding pre-market or post-market. You can add it. You want to see both sides of it, because technically it doesn't matter what happens pre-market, after hours, unless there's a news catalyst that's sending you higher or lower. Technically, it's what happens from 9:30 to 4. Okay? What happens from 9:30 to 4? And what happened here? We had a clear base, right? What did it do? It sold off, and we came back, retested it. Bang. That was Friday. I wanted to see if I could get a pullback. I never got it. I was actually looking at the 30-minute chart. And if you go back to my live on Friday when this happened, I said it. I showed everyone. I took off pre-market and after hours. I took it off to let me see the clear picture. Let me see it a little bit. Bang. Right? Bang. So what am I going to want to look for the SPY now? Right? Let's go to, real quick, a weekly chart, because what I think we just did was we actually filled that gap up here. Right? I think we actually just filled it. Now we wicked. See this gap here? Right? There's a small little gap between the two closes. It's very small. Now you came up and wicked it, but you did not close up there. Like, this candle did not close up here and then turn around. You went up intraday and came back down. A close would have been more supportive. What did we just do? right? What did we just do? We closed it. We went up, we closed it. What did we do now? Where are we at here? Now, futures look a little different because futures are down here at this double bottom. If you were to look at futures, they closed right here on it. They closed on that candle, on this weekly candle, right? So there's our weekly chart. What do we see? We have support right here. Oh, I don't have my whatchamacallits on. Sorry about that. So we have support. Now, the weekly chart will help you see it like even clearer. All right. Now, I've been using the 38.2 fib on the daily and stuff like that from the COVID low because that's what we're trying to get out of. And it came back 50% retracement, 32, 23.6. Right? We know these levels because it stuck them on its way back up. It was sticking that Fibonacci like I don't know what. If you want me to, I'm going to pull it up for you real quick because these are things you need to know. And the movement we just made, that 23.6 fib is coming up. Right? That 23.6 fib on this up move, because that's when we started the up move. We rallied, we pulled back, bang, it was on. I'll get into that 1 minute. Now, this is how, if you want to be the best market technician you have to try and use all of the tools accessible. Look at the RSI. It's a bit oversold on the daily and stuff. So I am going to look for a bounce back tomorrow. I would like to see a bounce back, but futures are saying that's probably not going to happen. It doesn't matter what they're at now. Okay, because we could just wake up tomorrow and be a whole nother, it could be a whole nother game. We could be green, So if you guys see this, I just want to show you this because you're going to see, look how perfect this is. Look at that. It literally trails between every single one. That was your range. The Fibonacci was your range. 50% retracement, bang. Look at that wick. Look how we just, remember that day? That was a crazy day. I think the SPY went almost 3%. All right? Look, found support. Now, it's going to be all because it's a daily and it was really small, so my lines might be a bit off. But look at that. 38.2 Fibonacci. We're holding it. We're progressing higher. We're coming back out of it. That was the pullback to the 50%. We pulled back 50% of that COVID move. Now we're working our way up. So we should start to see it hit these levels. Look, bang to a money, bang to the money. What did we do here? You broke out of 23 fib, and then it retraced it, right? Retraced it. So that's why it hasn't stopped. There hasn't been a level or anything other than here to stop it. So once we broke this level at 453.75-ish, 453.50 maybe. See, it's on a daily chart, so it's going to be a little difficult to see. That was our base. We just sat here. That was our base. Now we broke down. Where are we headed? We're probably headed back down here, right? We're probably headed back down to the lower end of this range, 445.37. I'm going to get into where I'm a buyer, where I'm a seller. What do I expect tomorrow? Let's do it, guys. Let's get into it. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have any charts you want to go over, now is the time. All right, we're gonna run through this, right? So where do I want to be a buyer and a seller? Let's do this. All right. First, let's start without pre-market, post-market, or after hours and pre-market. Again, if you could like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. So if you don't know, I have been trading for almost 8 years. Probably 8. I stopped counting. Been trading for a long time. I would not come on here if I did not think that I could offer some type of value to you and your portfolio and where it is you want to be in life, whether you want to take a vacation, you want a down payment for a home, you just want to make some extra money. All right. I would not be on here if I did not think that I could not help you succeed. And that's what we're all here to do, because it also helps me. All right. It helps me make the right decisions. So, and again, do not take any of these trades. Don't give out your information. Right? I tell you what I'm doing, and that's what it is. You're a grown adult. You should be responsible for your own actions. So look at this, guys. Again, what do? We had a gap down with a strong down day. We pull it back to make that prior support resistance. What do we need now? This is a 30-minute chart. I'm going to a 15-minute chart. Oh, I do apologize. Why do I do this every single time? I'm so sorry, guys. There we go. Oh, man, I'm so sorry that I did that. Well, now it's fixed. When it's important. When it's important. So, here's the SPY. This is a 15-minute chart. No pre-market. None of that stuff. So let's do it, right? So what do we have? We have a support broken. Now it's turned into resistance, okay? It's turned into resistance. We know we have CPI, we have the Fed, we have PPI, we have Michigan sentiment. You have all kinds of data. You have, not that it matters with China, but the other one I was going to say was the consumer credit change, right? So if we've already turned support or resistance into support, where is our next resistance that we need to turn into support? It's right here, right? It's right there. For me it is. For you, it might be different. Maybe you see something I don't. And if you could, comment down below, hey, you're missing something here. Look at, this is a 15-minute chart with no pre-market and after hours. Look at the RSI. We're oversold, and we're also putting in new lows on the stock, but the MACD and the RSI is putting in higher lows. That's bullish divergence. Okay? These are one of the things that we look at. I'm going to look depending on intraday volume and a lot of other things. Okay? What sectors are doing what news, if any news at all. I'm going to look for the bounce back, maybe even play a small long if I can get the opportunity into this 449 level. Okay? I want to technically, as of right now, I want to be short 449. But on the other hand, I'm also thinking about, because look at this, right? I want to break this down for you. You have, let me see if I can make this bigger, right? So you can see here, you have this small candle here to the left, resistance. You came up, support. You came all the way up, back around. What did you do when you got back to the level? You gapped down, but you did wick it. Look at it wicking it right there. Okay, if you need me to pull it, make it bigger for you. Right there. Look at the wicks going on there, guys. It's trying to turn it into resistance right now off of the gap fill. It won a little bit, but then it just got taken back, turned back into support. Now, again, price action is an area. It's not a specific price. Again, support. So, bang, bang, support. And they're keeping it down, and they're holding it, though. They're holding it. Sellers step away. They gap it up. Bang, again. They're coming back after the level again. Support. Rally. They gave up. What happened Friday? There you go. We hit the level that this is them telling you guys, not short yet. You still need to pull back. I've been waiting for this pullback, right? I've been waiting for that pullback, but I also, I was like, man, we're just dumping and dumping and dumping. And I was thinking this area, I'm like, we should be bouncing back up here to reject it, You want to look for those areas that aren't filled in a direction, right? So we broke it. What did we do Friday? We still have not turned this gap fill, and we do have a gap to the left of us. This is all market technician stuff. You need to know where your gaps are. You need to know what is going on. Now that I just explained it to you, that level is key, because if you just go back and look at it, right? Resistance, right? Breaks it, turns a mild support. It turns itself around in the same day. Bang. Puts its foot in the ground, calls it support, and then we rip higher. Okay, so if you can identify these before a move happens, if really identifying the level of importance, right? Look at that rally after you made it support. So then we bring ourselves up. Now, just this little bit isn't enough to hold all of this price action. Start thinking about, like me, I like to think about like, how heavy is this for this little wick or this little candle to hold it? It's not. It's got to pull back and really, put its foot in the ground, turn them sellers into buyers, and then you make that next leg higher. So we pulled back. Now we're playing with it. So this level is important. We gapped below it. They brought it up, resistance, brought it up again, said nope, support, right? Support. What happened after that? You're like, okay, we're not breaking to the upside. Take the long. You got a gap fill. Even again, it's like, wow, this level is really not breaking. Then you get your rally Friday. Boom, resistance. Okay. I also would like to think like we could get, if to really tell me that we're bearish or if this thing's just going to continue to go down, I need to see this area filled again. I need to make this area resistance, whether it's coming up to 450 or we bring it up to 451.20ish, 451.50 area. You want to see it make a lower high. right? You want to start looking for forward price action. When does that happen? Doesn't have to happen tomorrow, Tuesday. Maybe it happens Wednesday or Thursday. Maybe we creep up to CPI and these numbers. Maybe Fed Bowman says something that helps us go to the upside, or something happens in another country, or just something to bring us back up to this level. Because we have not made, we really haven't made this level into resistance yet, especially this level. Right? This 447 is not, 448 is not resistance yet. There was something more that I wanted to show you guys, and I can't remember what it was, right? So resistance. So you also have not had support at your double top. I think that's what it was, right? This double top that we got, we have not made it support. Okay, we have not made it support. So you should have already expected, no matter how long it takes, you need a pullback here. There's not been a candle. If it's happened pre or after hours. Okay? You need it during 9:30 to 4. That's when you want to see them put their foot in the ground at these levels. I've been waiting for the double top pullback to it to see what we do. Job numbers are good. People are working. That means fund managers, again, there's 401ks. They want to buy. They got to be long. Chances are I'm a buyer here. Right? Especially with that, coupled with my MACD, coupled with RSI, coupled with what other sectors, what they're doing, right? Let's look at the Qs. So that's my game plan for tomorrow, guys. I want to look for a bounce back into 449, right? 449 is going to be my area that I want to see become resistance. But first, we need to see if we can make 451 resistance again if it wants to. It may reverse to go test 451. So put these levels in your charts. 451, right? That's the last leg that I feel like is going to be resistance. Okay? 451. So I'm going to put a line there myself. Now, I can make this a 2. What I'll do is I'll make important levels a 2 or a 3 on the lines, and then a 1 for just my minor areas, like getting to your target. Right? So if we do come up and then try to put in a lower high, then we look for the rollover, and then we start to see if we can fill this gap. Because we have a gap fill down here that I think you still have people waiting to try and buy. Right? You have not stuck your foot in the ground, at least during market hours, and made this support. Now, again, you have futures, yes, but again, just looking at it like, from that angle, it hasn't become support yet. That resistance broke. Now it needs to become support. Has it done it in pre-markets? I'm sure it has. Or has it not? That's also the other question. Has it? No, it hasn't. Look, you just rallied. You haven't even made this area into support. Now, I want to tell you it is an area, right? I'm going to show you this. It is an area. It's about $1.50 wide. And I'm going to break it down for you right here. And the Qs are already down here. So we'll see what the Qs decide to do. So, and just by saying that, if you know the Qs are already down here, and futures also are down here at this level as well, just so you know. Qs are here, futures are there, the SPY itself isn't. So what do we have here? So you have a gap up, huge gap up, turn this area into support, which was previous resistance. Okay, support. So if you notice, this gap fill where we closed is the bottom of this range, right? Let me see if I can zoom it in for you to make it a little bit clearer. You see this? So you can't see that candle. It's what it went a little bit above it, but so it's right there. It's pretty much right there, right? It's right with that red candle. This red candle that's right there. It's right there with it. And look how it's the previous double top to a T. Okay? So this is the area that I want to see become support, right? Which is this pivot high, previous support here, okay? Which is also support from the previous resistance, from the previous pivot high. So that's the SPY, right? I ultimately, in due time, whether it takes, CPI to get us there, right? We don't know what CPI is going to do, or we just float, maybe in the mornings, right? Maybe we end up working our way. I'm just trying to get the 15-minute chart back on. I'm trying to do this quick for you guys. So, because I have a lot of stuff I want to get into. Not like too much, but like there's a lot of charts I want to show you guys for trade ideas. Okay? And what I want to be long and what I want to be short if the market's going to continue down or if it's going to give us the bounce back. So, I want to see, again, if the SPY, if we get somewhat of a, start to creep up tomorrow and maybe into Tuesday. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow's flat. Maybe tomorrow's flat. Holiday, not a holiday, but a summer weekend. And the trading doesn't really start until Tuesday. You also have some earnings. We got to see what earnings are. Or like, the majority of earnings are already behind us. And again, my concern is sales. Okay? Because sales is revenue. And sales were down for the most part that I seen. All right. So I want to creep back up here. We can even do, if you want to learn how to do this, you could even take a percentage and say, all right, if we're going to get there, how long is it going to take? And what is it going to take? So that's a 0.5% move to that first target of 448.49 or 449. Okay, so there is the level I was talking about. That's the level I was talking about. Right there, 449.38. Okay, 449.38. That is a very clear level that I'm going to look for tomorrow. So you could take that and say, hey, I want to make, and this is why it's a dollar range, right? This is why it's a range too, even on the upside resistance. But I want to see if we can get up here. I want to see if we get back up to this 450.10. It's like, it's in the low 450s. Okay, and then I want to see if we make that resistance, right? Because you played with it. Now we need to really see it. If this market wants to go down, you're going to see 450, and you start getting volume in at 450, I'm getting short. But we first have to look at 447 or 448. So 448 is going to be our first level. See where we open up at, right? And then we start getting into the 449 to 450 is where that area is. The low 450s, 449. I'll give you my levels, okay? My level is 449. It's 449, right? Call it 449. And this level right here that I have is 449.99 to 450.11. Okay, 450.11. But I would honestly stick with, see that this is why it is, because look, you managed to turn it into support. See that? See that support? Look, support, it breaks, it immediately reverses, resistance, you get the gap down. Then you try to find your way back. It breaks through it, turns it into support, breaks down, resistance, gap up, pulls back. They're playing with this level. So what I would expect is another buy. And look at the end of the day. And this is a 15-minute chart. Look at that end of day green candle. All right, guys. So that's that. You guys got the levels, right? We're looking for a bounce back to 449, 450. Okay, 449, 450. And then we see how we do there. We see how do we get there with volume. Do we have an increase? Do we have nice volume getting up there? And the chances are it's going to break again and then turn into support. Okay. Or is it a low volume push up and we get some data out that brings us back down to find buyers back down here at this double top. So let's go into Amazon. I'm watching Amazon tomorrow, this week, right? So I also wanted to tell you guys with the SPY, watch the 20-day and the 50-day, right? Watch the 20 and 50-day. You want to pay attention to, you want to at least know where your moving averages are on the weekly and daily. Because if it turns itself around, you'll be like, damn, why did it turn around? There's not really a support or resistance or what? It's nothing on the daily. It's probably a weekly 100-day moving average or something, right? Keep those in mind. Because institutional, they buy and sell on longer term stuff. Like they use weekly charts, they use monthly charts. I know this. I know this for a fact. All right, so Amazon stuck the 100-day weekly moving average, and we said, man, this is a bullish sign. That's a bullish sign, right? Daily, you got your gap up off of earnings. Okay, you're still floating. You bounced right off the 50-day. You pulled back. Well, you just put in a state, a base, and then a consolidation where the 50-day pulled itself up to it, right? Got it. Bang. Earnings. Isn't that funny how as soon as they meet each other, it's earnings and bang, right to the upside. So we can go into a half-hour chart. So we know I need to put up this, but I don't really have to. So guys, I'm going to be honest. I do want to see if Amazon, if we can get a pullback into like this area here of like 133.94 maybe, right? I want to see if it pulls back. I want to see a pullback into like 133.50, right? Will we get it? Maybe not. They had good earnings. Doesn't mean we'll get anything, right? Doesn't mean we'll get anything. So let me pull up the full chart, and then we're going to go into a 15-minute chart. I'm going to be watching Amazon. I'm going to be watching Amazon tomorrow. So Amazon broke down. It did hold up, right? It did hold up here. It's, you know, even if this thing pulls back a little bit, it's still bullish. You know, stocks need to find a place where the sellers that were the people that were sellers, right? Because the stock market is a plotted graph of people's emotions, is ultimately what it is, right? Just like YouTube. If you like and you subscribe, it keeps me here. It keeps me doing the work to help us get us on the right side of probability, to help us make some money. And it's free 99. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for subscribing, man. I greatly appreciate it. Right? It's not just for me, it's for all of us. Right? We're all here to be better traders. We're all, you know, a lot of people charge a lot of money to do this stuff. To even go over charts at night and go over trades. Right? What are we doing wrong? What can I help you with? What can the chat help you with? Right? That's what we're building here. So again, guys, thank you for the likes and the shares. If you could, comment down below whether it's questions, there's something I could do better, something I could think about, a stock that I'm not seeing, a sector, a questions, you know. So thanks again, guys, for the likes and the subs. So Amazon is trying to hold this base from earnings from Friday. Okay, I want to see if Amazon has a failed gap up. That's what I want to see. So first off, I'm going to want to see what the market does, because if I think the SPY and the NASDAQ are going to give us a bounce back, then of course I gotta look to be long the stocks that are strong, right? I thought I got rid of all these signs. Did you guys notice I cleaned up the charts? So the Q, again, like I said, the Q's got there. They actually put in a double bottom at your prior double top. So now we're going to watch the Q's. And we still have that bullish divergence I told you guys about with the SPY. Well, actually, the Q's could probably come down even more now. Now that I look at it, I think the Q's could pull back again. I think there's a little more pullback in them. So, but we'll see there. So again, I'm going to want to watch the Q's and the SPY and see what they do. Because if I think the Q's get back up to 375 to turn that, to really turn that into resistance, or I'm sorry, if they bounce back to 373.50, 373.50 is going to be my target. If it cannot break back up through this 373.45, call it 373.50, this has all been support. You know, it tried to make a resistance and then it gapped up above it, and it just played with it. Just like the SPY, just like all the other, they're playing with that level. They're playing with it. Q's broke up back up above it. If you notice that right now, I guess this is futures, right? So Q's broke back up above it, and it looks like they're a bit overbought, right? So does that mean we look for 374? I'm going to want to see what we do with a gap up or a gap down. If we gap down, or if we're still where we closed on Friday, I am going to look for another bounce attempt to start turning these levels into resistance. So if we're going to get a bounce attempt, then, and Amazon is strong, then I want to see if Amazon's going to do the same thing and give us a lower high. Okay? I want to see if it's going to give us a lower high. At least on this 15-minute chart, it looks like it's primed to break out again. Right? It's primed to break out to the upside. So if I will be watching this area again though. I want to see where we open and where we close. Okay. I have 141. Okay, 140. See, it's like 141.25. Or could I call it 141.10? That's going to be my level. Okay, 141.10 to 141.20. Let me see if I can. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. And this is what we should all do. If we aren't really clear on a time frame, then we need to go look at a different time frame. So let me bring up the half hour and see what I see there. Right? Let me see what I see there. Because maybe it has something to offer. Right? Does it have anything to offer? Well, it kind of does. Look at that. Well, wouldn't you know? Right? 140. 140. This is why it's important to use different time frames. And hell, and even using pre-market and after hours along with not using them. Okay? Because what happens during 9:30 to 4 is what really matters. It's where we close is what matters. So that's 4:30 or 4 o'clock. 9:30 to 4 is what really, dictates, at least for me and how I've been taught, what you should be basing your opinions on. So this is our level. I'm going to make it a number 2. So if I think we're going to get possibly put in like either a high or low, or we do get a rally, because I'm ultimately looking for that SPY and the Qs to get that gap fill, right? So if I think this is going to be like just a pullback into like higher levels to turn them into resistance, then I'll look for Amazon to possibly get up to 141.50. Yes, 141.50, 141.40. This is going to be the area that I'm going to look to see if the markets pull back, and in the manner that they do, maybe Amazon pulls back and then trends higher as well. Okay, I have a couple more. I just need to edit this so that I know this is where I will look to possibly get my short on it. Now, I don't want to be short strong stocks. That's the thing. So I'm going to dictate what it does during the day to make my decisions, right? I'm going to dictate my decision making on what happens that day. All right, so I'm going to make this red. It just makes everything a whole lot easier. Because there's also an area too, though, guys. So if I look here, look at this. This is another area, that 142. 142 is probably the area you want to see if it turns it into resistance. Okay, that's probably the area. So I can go on and on and on, but you just want to find your levels, right? Find your levels and just work them. But what's the end target? So the bottom end buy side target is going to be the low of the day to the high of the day. So those are going to be the two most important levels. But what do we have in between? So if we're going to look for a higher low in 142, psychological 142, and the markets do bounce back only to go lower, then we do look for 142 to become resistance for sure, because we could not break up above it. You did break up above it, and then the markets took it back. Amazon technically didn't take it back, but it did put in a double top, and the markets also went back down. So that's why you see an Amazon pull back like it did. Right? 142. We'll make it. So that's going to be my level. I do apologize. All right. Amazon 142. But I will see what we do here at these levels as well. Right? These levels are also very important. All right. So one more time. We're going to look to see where we open. If we get a gap down, what happens if we get a gap down or if we get a gap up? Right? Well, then it's simple. This double bottom, this area right here, I'll look for it to become resistance and then short it. 139.50, if we gap down and we pull back up to it, I'm shorting. Right? If we pull back and come up to 140, so it's going to be a range. But really, 139.55, I'll give it, 50 cents to say whether I'm right or I'm wrong, or I'll wait for it to actually reject and start to move. Once I feel it, then I'll get short. Okay? Then I'll get short. So you got a bunch of levels here on Amazon already. So I want to see where it is that we open and where it is that we close, because I could see a lower high being taken place here. If the overall markets are going to drag Amazon lower, you want to see a higher low, right? You want to see a higher low. Okay. And again, that area ultimately is 142. That level is going to be 142. Let's bring up Microsoft because I've been watching Microsoft. We hit this thing a couple times during the week last week. A lot of people were trying to be short Amazon when we were long, and it's worked out. The plan has stuck, right? The plan has just completely stuck together. Amazon is just, I guess the earnings weren't that great, or they're just lowering guidance or whatever it is. Doesn't matter, Unless it's a big deal, then it does matter that, you could look for this thing down here, obviously, but it wasn't that big of a news. You're above all major moving averages, first and foremost. You have your resistance support area up here at like 313 area, 314 or 315. But I would say it's this area here that I would look to really pay attention to. Let's go to a daily real quick. I want to knock these out. And, I still got to show you guys my swing trade that I'm thinking about, and energy and Bitcoin and gold, because I feel like Bitcoin's getting ready to break down. You heard it first. You heard it here first. If it does not hold the level that it's at right now, and you put in a lower high, expect Bitcoin to break that level, and we're going to be short BITO, we're going to be short Coinbase, we're going to be short crypto names. So that's an idea for tomorrow going into this week that I'm thinking about. Okay, again, it's just me thinking about it. So another rejection of the 50-day on Amazon or Microsoft. Let's go into an hourly chart. You want to see everything. So I told you guys the stages that Amazon was in. So this is first channel, two channel, this is the second channel, and then the third channel up top here. So Amazon has been fairly weak. Okay, Amazon's been fairly weak. I felt like Friday, this is why I was so lopsided and why I think that question was asked. Okay, if I swing trade or not. Again, I was short coming into the day Friday, not physically. Okay, but my thesis was more towards that side. You could be having a cup and handle right here, guys. You hold here, look for the breakout. I want to see if Amazon can get back, or I want to see if Microsoft can get back to this level. I want to see if we can get here. Wednesday, Thursday, right? What did we say? I said, guys, watch for Amazon. I literally put the target there. I said, look for Amazon to put in a lower high if we're going to, not that if we're going to, but the way that the chart was, kind of telling me if I'm reading the chart correctly, right? We break down, and I wanted to see if we made a lower high. What did we do? We did exactly that, right? We did exactly that. Even here, even through here on a lower time frame, because I'm on an hourly, on the 15-minute, I asked members in chat. Members in chat will attest. I said, hey, let's look for a lower high. I think it was right here. It was that level, right? Because we broke down, and then it was here. I said, guys, look for this to be resistance. But what do I see right now, right? On the 15-minute, it's still pretty weak. I got to be honest. But it is putting, because you can see I already had that circle down there for the MACD. So I want to see if it starts to put in a base to trend higher. But if the markets aren't going higher, how can Microsoft go higher? Okay, that's my question. It could, unless it has a piece. The thing is they could come out with a piece of news any minute. And is this MACD, this bullish divergence, stocks putting in new lows while the MACD RSI is trying to trend higher? Not so much the RSI. Is there a news catalyst about to go? And here, right here, I said it looks like we're holding. You put in a double bottom, made it resistance, but you poked your head back above it, turned it back into support. That is a stock that is slowly, it's shifting from going down to going up. And the price action is tight in between. That was another lesson we went into a while ago with the SPY. How you can sense that turnaround. As you're going down, the bounces and the lows, the new lows, there's a distance, and that distance starts to close on those lows where it's like, boom, it's like a ball. It bounces, boom, 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 boom. And then, it comes to a stop. That downward momentum comes to a stop. And you can sense it with the lows that are put in. they become tighter and they become smaller. They're smaller because they are tighter. So, like, share, and subscribe. Give you guys great content here, guys. I want you guys to make some goddamn money. GOT. So, I want to see Microsoft get. I'm looking for Microsoft to get to 331, right? I want to see what we do tomorrow. If we come in with a gap down or if we gap up. Let's say if we gap up to this resistance, right? Depending on what the SPY and the Qs do. Maybe you get a small pullback, right? We open up, you bounce into this 329.35 area, 329.25. It's an area, right? It's an area. Hell, maybe it's right at like just under 330, right? Call it 350. We're going to just call it 350. Okay. I want to see if 330.50, I'm sorry, or 329.50, I'm sorry. Let's see if 329.50, if we get another pullback. I'm going to look for a pullback into yesterday's close. I want to see if we pull this thing back into, I'm going to give you guys my idea right now, okay? Give you guys my idea right now. And I also want to show you guys why. I want to see tomorrow if Microsoft can pull itself back in, okay? I just need to bring up tomorrow, all right? If Microsoft can pull itself right back in to this area right there, make it support, start putting in higher, and then break this level, turn that level into support, and then we climb higher, okay? And then we climb higher, right? My final target, my upside on this, I want to see if we can get up to 333.75 area, okay? 333.75, 334. This is where I'm looking, okay? This is where I'm looking for it. And it's not, I'm not saying it gets there tomorrow, right? But I want to see if it gets there. I want to see if Microsoft can get there. Really? It's going to be if we're going to be weak, 333 is going to be the higher low or the lower high. I assure you that. 333 will be the higher low if we get there. Or 331, okay? One of the two. Because you got a gap fill back here, you come up, it's already filled it. So, I feel like with this price action right here the past couple days, all right, even when on a down day, it closed higher than the previous days. Did the SPY do that? So if we look at a 15-minute chart, well, this is a 15-minute chart for the past couple days. Look, I think it froze up on me. Shit. Microsoft did not. Oh, you know what? Microsoft did not close below the prior day's close, right? Where's the prior day's close? Oh, it's here. It's there. It didn't. Exactly. It didn't. Microsoft is still above prior day's close. So, let's go to SPY. Right? Let's go to SPY. What did SPY do? Did SPY break yesterday's close? I'm pretty sure it did. I'm pretty sure it did. Right? So, there's bullish divergence. There's the close for the SPY. 446. The prior day's close was 449, 448.82ish. Okay, Microsoft, Amazon. These stocks that did not break the prior day's lows, those are the stocks I'm going to want to be strong. Look to the long side, especially if the market tries to turn itself around. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be long Amazon and Microsoft if we get a small bounce. Risk is still off for the most part because we still have gap fills and that double bottom support. But if we start to bounce ourselves back, I will be long Microsoft and Amazon. I will be here telling you guys, hey, where were y'all at? We just killed it. There's another 60, 80, 100, 120% trade. All right. So, SPY's obviously bounced. I said Friday we would look for a bounce. Why did I say that? Look at the 15-minute chart. Okay. You have to look at it between days. Look at this. Look at this MACD here, okay? Look at that low versus a new low with the higher MACD. We're getting ready to get that rally. We're getting ready to see if we can put in a higher low, right? We're going to see if we can get back up here to Fed Day. We'll see. I would like to see if we could catch a run and start making this a range, 447 to 455 range. 457, 455, right? I want to see that. We still haven't turned any of that into resistance, honestly. Since we broke, you have not turned any of that into resistance. So we have a prior resistance that's not support, and we have a prior support that's not resistance. Which one is it going to go to? And I'm going to tell you right now, if it goes back up here to turn this into resistance, 455, sorry if I moved it. But if we go back and turn that area into resistance at 455 to 457, I'm going to tell you right now, we got a lot more downside coming. If you cannot break back up above that, that means there's a catalyst coming here in the near future that's going to make that higher low. It's going to make this a lower high, right? It's going to make this be a lower high. And this is what I've been waiting for, to see if we could get a lower high, right? Like one that we go to and we roll it over. You get up there, you can't get any higher, you're not getting any lower, and then it just rolls itself over. All right? So that's that. Again, if you guys don't know, also, we trade Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, Ivy League Trading, youtube.com. We trade live Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. Tomorrow, after around lunchtime, after the morning bell and stuff, I have to go take care of this property. But I'll be here. If there's news, we'll see. So, I will have the stream up. I'll have the charts up and everything. You guys can use them. Time and sales, level 2, Squawk Box. We'll have all that stuff up for you. So Microsoft, Amazon. We have the cues, guys. So look, I haven't looked at Goldman Sachs again yet, right? We'll see what happens with Goldman Sachs. Feel like it might want to go a bit lower. But I wanted to show you guys CVX. What am I seeing with CVX and all these oil names? You guys notice how we called this out 2 weeks ago, and we were early on the rally, and now everybody's talking about it, just like Bitcoin, just like Baba. What else was there? There was something else. I know there was. So if I go to a weekly chart, okay, that's what this is a weekly chart. This is Chevron, by the way. This is just one of them. So what I'm seeing here on Chevron, to make me think that we might go lower, but we are closing higher. That's the thing. The candles are red, but we're closing higher. This right here is my... Say no. So we could not make this resistant support area support. You broke it. You just can't make it support yet. We haven't yet. Unless there's something I'm not seeing here, because I'm not always going to be right. But for the most part, you have support, resistance, pivot low, support right there at 166.89, 167. You bounce 90 MA, bang, there you go. There's the pivot. Right here is the area, this box, right? It's become resistance. So previous support, resistance, and what did you do here? There's a gap fill. You gapped above it. Then you just bring it down. They bring it down. Resistance. You tried to break it. Now you're making this whole area resistance. Does this thing fall out of bed and come back down and test 145? I'm actually really curious. Or is there something else at play? Because I have more. Oh, I did not show you, but okay. Well, we could go through. Again, we're live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube. Ivy League Trading, youtube.com, 7:30 to 4. We come on nice and early, get our game plans, cover the news, come up with our trading plans. So if you guys notice here on the daily, so we have a pennant here we've been putting in, just like all other energy stocks. Okay, we have been holding the 100-day. You've held the 100. You gapped below it, yes. What'd you do? You had a nice wick back, only to gap up above it, only to put in another double top at that resistance. This area is so strong, guys. Right? This 164 level in Chevron is just, it's a lot for it. Okay? It's a lot. You broke down, you had a gap down, and you tried again. Nothing. Market broke down. We finally broke the 100-day. I don't know if you guys can see that. You finally cracked below and closed below the 100-day. So do we just, do we look for this thing to try and bring volume in on the upside or the downside? Does it just want to come back in and test this area here, then grind higher, right? Then grind higher, right? We don't know yet, but I do know. Look at the volume that came in on Friday. You know, I would think if they were really bullish, like these larger names, that it would have held. Another thing, right? You want to stack the probabilities on your side when trading, guys. Another thing, like you want to see as many things that tell you, say, I got 8 things that tell me bullish, I got 3 things that tell me bearish. Chances are you need to be bullish. And if you can't come up with a reasoning for whatever side it is, like you have nothing to be bullish about and everything to be bearish, chances are it's a short. Okay. I still have one more chart. I still have a couple more. We can, if you guys have any questions, throw them in chat. So this RSI on the daily isn't bad, right? But here I am trying to type in weekly chart. You know it's getting late when I'm doing that, and I'm tired. All right, guys. So look, so it wasn't that bad. Shoot. Okay, maybe it was something else. I'm sorry. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. Let's look at XLE, right? They're all putting in this pattern. We've had it. We've had this pennant up for forever. So there's 2 ways we can look at this. But look at XLE, the RSI. You guys can't see it, but it's up at 61. MACD's trying to curl up above, trying to curl itself up. So on the weekly chart, okay, you are above the 50-day, but I feel like you might struggle up here at 87.50 at this resistance level. All right, I think that level, because that level matches up with all the other levels that every other energy stock is doing, and now everybody for some reason is bullish energy. So we've already caught the long side. Man, it's time for a pullback. All right, maybe it's time for a pullback, or you could look at this like this, right? You could look at this pennant just like a longer term time frame. Okay, but it's all on how you want to look at it. To me, because if I go on the daily, you're going to see this pennant. It wicked down, it broke out, but it retested the pennant to go long. Oil USO did it. That's why I feel like the pennant is here and not there. But maybe it is there. Maybe we have to wait and see. You know, I don't have a conviction yet on XLE. I feel like the conviction that I have is this area up here at 88 is going to be resistance, right? That area is going to be resistance. And it still did not close above this level here. This level right here that I have is 87.37, call it 87.50 area. Okay? So that's another clear rejection of this pivot high. Pivot high, double top. This is the 3rd, 4th time. Maybe it pulls back and then it goes. Maybe that's what I'm thinking too with Chevron. Maybe it gives us one more pullback, a low volume pullback, and then bang. Then maybe it goes. Okay? Then maybe it goes. So I'm going to be watching these. I'm going to be watching them. GLD. This is something I'm thinking about swinging. So, but look at this. I feel like, this is why I feel like we're going to break down. Now I'm going to look at it from both sides of the aisle. Upside and downside. Okay? So, this is GLD. You can look at GDX. Well, GDX I think is gold miners. See, I'm not a metals guy or whatever. You know, but I do play them. I do like them. I was long for disclosure purposes, whatever. I no longer hold these positions. But I was long November and December. Right? I bought May calls, March calls on GLD. I'm no longer in them. Okay? Weakness in the strength. This is why I tell you guys, we put in a stage 1 rally. We put in the base. Then you shake them out to make the next move higher. But I'm nervous with GLD. Alright? I'm nervous. So, here's a weekly chart. And as you can already tell, This 184 is a big level of resistance for GLD. Okay, it's a big level of resistance. I knew that was going to happen. This mouse, I gotta get a new mouse. It's so easy. It's just you just breathe on it and it clicks. So I want to see if we bounce back, and if we turn 181 into resistance and cannot get back above and close above 181, I'm going to look to get short GLD, and I'm going to target this gap fill on the weekly chart. You have a gap fill back here. This does not mean that it still can't break out later on. This could be the shakeout to grind higher. This could be the pullback. Where would this pullback take you? This pullback would also take you to where? The 50-day, the 100-day, right? That's also where it will take you. So right here, and I'm going to go in further to show you guys what I'm seeing. Right there to the downside, 175, 174 is going to be my target if this thing breaks down. I feel like it could. With the dollar, if the dollar gets... Because you got to think, what's the Aussie doing? What's the Euro doing? What's the Yen doing? If they start to climb lower, not climb lower, but if they start to fall lower, that's going to raise our dollar. Technically, it should. You know, it has the adverse effect. That's going to put a more weighting on gold and energy, possibly, for it to break down. And if we do break down, it's still a longer trend upside. Just because it pulls back and fills a gap doesn't mean that this is bearish yet. You know, I would expect this. If it's going to go to the downside, guys, I would expect it to break. This is going to be over multiple days. It'll break, find its support. It'll turn this area back into resistance, right? This 179, 179.50, 180, only to put in a lower high to break. And then there you go. You have GLD back down at 162. Call it 159, 160 is the area. I will be swinging that if I get it. Let's go to the daily chart. Okay. I just drew that out for you. Let's see if that if I had to put on a position right now I can't. But if I had to say what's the direction, I'm saying hello 160, 159.50 to 160. Watch out, right? I will put a square there. Let's see if we get it. Okay, let's see if we get it. All right, let's see if we get it. Because we also have another gap fill down here, believe it or not. See if we get it. See if we get it. Let's go to the daily. We still held this level. There's two. I have a bullish setup on here too, though. So this is why this level is going to be important. And I'm going to show you what I need for it. All right, you're starting to put in a head and shoulders here, a reverse head and shoulders. Okay, again, if this level does not hold, if we turn 180 into resistance and we still can't stay here and try to climb a little bit, consolidation is fine. If we just sit here on it, that's fine. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see it just jump up because it's not going to give us the pattern. All right, look at the volume for one, real quick. I just want you guys to see this daily volume. The sell side versus the buy side is skewed. Look at the selling compared to the buying down here. They should be stepping up to start bringing this higher. If this is going to be a reverse head and shoulders, this is where they should be starting to buy. And the right, the right side, the whole right side, like this move, the pullbacks should be low volume pullbacks, and then upside volume for on the upside of the move. So if I go to an hourly chart, whatever, half hour, you guys are going to see it's trying to put in with a very clear neckline at 184.50 area. Yeah, 184, 184.50. Call it 184 neckline with the reverse head and shoulders here. And people are starting to get tired of gold. So is this the time for it to consolidate? I told you guys, if this level breaks, I'm getting short. But what did it end up doing? It turned it, it brought it back and held it. But look at the sell volume. Look at the selling. Okay. the upside is where, see what I mean by like the volume on the upside? Look at this volume. Just look at this volume. Look at the middle. Look at that volume. Look at that volume on the breakouts. And on these pullbacks, on bullish patterns, you want to see low volume selling. But look at that. Look at that. This is what's kind of getting me nervous. So I'm just going to wait. I'm going to watch it. We start getting here, guys. I'm going to show you where it's at. I'm putting the trade on. Especially if I have volume. If I have volume and we claim this level right here, this is still early in the trade. I should have been a buyer Friday. I could have already would have been in the driver's seat if I bought it Friday. But I didn't. Amazon had earnings, whatever. Trading's not perfect. Right? If we get up and hold that 181, I'm going to, with volume, and we start making it support again, because now again, this is resistance or prior support that broke and could become resistance. Okay, you see that? See how that area was prior support, and then it broke it, and then it turns those buyers back into sellers now because it's not doing anything, because they think they should be short. So we're going to see. This is a pattern you would just want to give it the time that it needs. I would. Because if I'd have to say, I mean, this thing probably won't break out until, another week or two. So there's still time. If this thing consolidates and starts going higher, I don't know when this is, because it's not telling me. Yeah, it's not. So 8/18. So yeah, second week of the month, right? End of second week of the month, third week of the month. Okay, that's what I want to start seeing. Even if it breaks back down and it still holds this level and chops around, that's even better. But I just want to see that upside volume, because now it's got to start basing and it's got to start going up. And if that volume comes in on the upside, I'm going to be so long and faster than you can blink. I'm going to be long. I'm going to be long, and I'm going to look for the break through the neckline. I'm going to wait through the break through the hold. I'll take some pieces off as it goes. I will buy it outright, and I'll buy some calls to be long. Whatever I need to do to help myself stay in that trade and get that next leg upside, I want to be there. Maybe now's not the time, but I am also not shying away from being short this thing either. If it fails to break out with volume and so on and so forth, right? So whenever Amazon, do you guys have any questions? Any tickers you guys want to put in the chat? You guys can go ahead. Those are kind of my thoughts and what I'm thinking now. We have TUP that was doing its thing. So see what it does. We'll see what it does. The Qs are there where they are. Let's see what the regionals are doing. So regionals look like they are in a tough spot here. Looks like they want to turn this 48 into resistance. 48.69. Maybe we can short. Maybe we can get the KRE back down to 47.85. Right? Maybe we'll look for regionals. These are trades that you can just make, put a stop loss, trailed stop. You're making money. Then go on to the other trades. That way, something happens, bang, you got a trade working for you. There's a range here so far. If it works its way back down to 47, there you go. Great trade. So, I have some more work to do. Oh, BABA earnings. We have earnings. So you have Disney, you have BABA. So those are the things I'm also going to look at, right? Goldman Sachs is still trying to hold this pennant. Not sure what it's going to do, right? Not sure what it's going to do yet, but it's a nice setup, right? Look at the volume on the breakout. We just look how it's a low volume pullback. And what else did Goldman Sachs do? Goldman Sachs did not close below the prior day on that Friday sell-off. Is this about the time? Do we start this week, see like Goldman Sachs try to break itself back up to this 365 and work its way back to 380? I'm going to look for that, right? I'm actually going to write it down so I don't forget it, because we've had Goldman Sachs on our list for a while. We've seen it break out. We've seen it hold this range. We've just been waiting for the confirmation. Could we get the confirmation This volume off of it, though, is what I don't like. I would like a nice, I would like this thing to be like up here to say, hey, it planted its foot on that pennant, that downtrend. We know institutions have this drawn on their chart. They're long. We're long. Hello. Making money as we do every day in chat. YouTube.com. Ivy League Trading. We trade Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. So if you're new, if you could, like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. If you find this information valuable, hit that like button. More importantly, if you could, subscribe. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. And again, if you guys have any type of questions, you guys can throw them in chat. A failed breakdown on Goldman Sachs, I would look to get back down to that 328.50 area, right? I mean, your first target's obviously going to be back down here at 340. Goldman Sachs could pull back, right? Goldman Sachs still could pull back to 344 or 345, right? This previous double top, resistance, right? Resistance, boom, boom. Support, resistance breaks. We should get it to become support. Oh, what else do we have there? This is a daily chart, right? Yes, it is. So what could we look? Where could be a buy target for us? Where could be a buy target? Well, for me personally, I would look to be a buyer right there on that 200-day if we get that volume. Because right now, this is telling me that you probably have a low volume pullback. I would count this thing out if it does not hold the 200-day and this previous double top. Price is an area, not an exact penny. So we shall see. The moving averages are curling themselves up. The 50-day is breaking up above the 100. Trying to work its way also. So you know what? If we do get that extension, what's that going to do? That's going to bring that 50-day up. And it's going to bring it back up through the 200. Okay? I got to make sure I did all my due diligence on the weekly chart and everything too. So, and what else do you have there? So you have a daily 200-day moving average at 345. You have a weekly 100 at 345. And you have the 50 at 340. So this 340 to 345 area should technically bring in buyers. Right? Should bring in buyers. 345 for me is the jackpot. 345. I'm saying it now. Right? If this thing is going to do anything at all, 345 is got to hold. It's got to hold that level right there. You got your 50, you got your 100, you got on that's on the weekly, and then you have the 200-day right there, along with the 50-day trying to work itself up. That is going to be the area that I'm going to look for on Goldman Sachs. Okay? I'm going to be looking there. Unless it could just start breaking out now. Because you have a previous pivot, right? You broke back up. Bang. Does it put its feet in the ground and hit this downtrend? But we'll see. Usually this candle, and it's a weekly candle, usually I think that is a rollover type of candle there. Okay. So that's that. That's awesome, right? See, this is why you guys want to really go through these things. Again, daily 200, weekly 100. You're going to get your 50-day there. To be brought up to meet it, possible golden, or whatchamacallit, the 50, it's a golden cross, possible golden cross. So I want to see if it holds it. I just wish we had more volume. Maybe it's just not time yet. Sometimes you got to give it time. Look at that. Your 200 days. That would be such a perfect long if it stuck that 200 and just ripped, because then I could see. Now, see, why do I have the trend line up here? Because this was that long move. That was that long rally back in October, if you guys remember, where it just went, I'm pretty sure from like, I thought it was like a buck to 180 or something like that, but it's obviously 290 to 380. That's what it was. It went $100. So that's the start of the base, and then we would look for that. We could measure the move, guys. We would measure the moves, and I think we did already. I thought we did measure this move on Goldman Sachs. I'll do it real quick for you because it's important. Institutions do it. That gives them targets, and it gives them a distance for profit taking and all that fun stuff. Right? So that technically is the move there. I'm gonna put it right there. Right? Oh, it is slanted, but whatever. Who cares? Should be fine. Distance is a distance. Now, if we put it at the 200 day, where does that put us? Puts us through new highs. We'll see what happens. Because this downtrend there could also be what they have. So if I look at it like that, right, that would actually put us at the 50 day. Right? That would also put us back at the 50 day with this prior resistance that would become support to go higher. Or a possible failed breakdown later on down the road. So this is how you want to look at things. Like what could happen. That way you're ready. That way you're ready and you know, nothing unexpected happens. Like, whoa, why did it just do that? Well, did you really plan? Right? So if I draw that trend line from there, okay, look at this. And it should, what does that do? That meets us right here with the 50 day and the 100 to give us a long, to break us back out through the 200. So maybe we do get our pullback here. 334, right? This level becomes resistance. I'm swinging this thing short. Profits in front of 345. Final target, if it breaks through, I'll give it a little bit of time to break 345. But then I will look for the, hold on. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. I'm sorry. I will look to get short and see if we can hold this 345. If you cannot, 345, 344, because there's your 200 day. Okay, your 200 days right there. So you'll probably get a low volume bounce back to turn that into resistance. And then I'm going to look to bring this thing down to 333. Okay, 333 would be the final target for the downside. 335. I don't know why my phone is doing what it's doing. Why would it do that? So if you guys don't have any questions, that's really all I have for the night. These are the things I'm going to be watching. I have more. Remember, we have BABA earnings, we have Disney earnings. China's already going through earnings season right now. I got to clean this chart up. So look, what do we have here? We have support. Like, it broke through it, it held up. Again, this is another stock that did not close below the prior day's close, right? Like the SPY, So keep that. That's a bullish signal. It was a down day in the market. It's a pretty big down day. Not for this bad boy. All right. Now premiums might be a little high because of earnings and things like that. Okay. But you have to just know that there's earnings if you're going to play BABA, if there's any type of news. And that is a low volume pullback. Right. Look at the buying going on. So if BABA does hold, hello 100. You break and hold 100. Hello 104. Other than that, guys, that's what I have. You guys have any questions? Throw them in the comments. Anything that you would like me to cover, work on in the future. Oh, I am getting the videos ready. I was just getting used to a couple things. Thank you guys so much for the likes, the subs, and everything. I am working on those videos the risk management stuff where you guys can dial in how much you're going to make, how much you're going to lose before you even take your option. At least know an estimate, okay, depending on the price movement, the technical stuff, and just knowing, having an idea of like future price movement. It's really important. It's really important. And a lot of times, unless you're not told, I know like some traders and stuff, they like to keep things like to themselves, or like they only want to give so much. They just want to feed you some crumbs, just to keep you staying tuned. I want to give you all of it. Okay. I want to give you all of it. I just feel like there's a way that things can be done. I don't know why my phone keeps doing this. That you can get the information that you need, the education, the resources. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining the live stream tonight. Again, I'm Justin. If you haven't already, hit the like, share this with a friend that may want to be able to come to a group and go over charts and not have to be charged. It's free 99. Hit the like button, subscribe, share this with a friend. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the comment. I read the comments. Thank you guys so much for joining tonight. We'll have a great day tomorrow. Join us live Monday right here, Ivy League Trading. We start at 7:30. We trade throughout the day. I'll probably step away depending on the news and if there's something going on in the markets around lunchtime to go help with a property. So you guys have a great night. I will see you all tomorrow morning, 7:30. Okay, 7:30 bright and early. Get your sleep. Let's go, gang. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the morning, guys. Thank you.